Welcome to another episode of Fully Charged. I'm currently standing in a quite chilly street in Oslo, Norway, and behind me is a beautiful, very clean white Tesla Model S P85, and I'm about to drive that car from here in Norway all the way down south to London. There have been a few bonkers things I've done in electric cars, but I think this one takes the biscuit. This is utterly insane. It's about 1,200 miles, but there's loads of superchargers on the way. Apparently, it's going to be a walk in the park. That's what they said in there.
And so we set off on our marathon road trip. Through Oslo, through the suburbs, out onto the highway, through loads of tunnels, and into the woods. After a couple of 100 kilometres, we stopped to recharge. And there were plenty of Tesla drivers on hand, happy to give advice. We drove on to Gothenburg, where we stayed on a ship, as you do.
Now, I've been rightly criticised in the past for flying off all over the world to drive electric cars, so that we can eventually reduce our carbon footprint. And you have to deal with the hypocrisy that's inherent in that activity. So I've made a new pledge. I am sailing everywhere powered by wind, and that's how I got to Oslo.
Well, what's amazing is, so we're in an electric car, heating's on, it's really warm, it's really comfortable, it is potentially extraordinarily fast, although generally speaking, one wouldn't go that fast. When we stopped last night, we supercharged it while we had something to eat. It got up to about 95% of the battery, and then we drove down to Gothenburg, which is about 75 kilometres. And when we got here, it was 70%. And this morning, we've got another few hundred kilometres to go before we supercharge. And it just doesn't come into it. And if we'd been in, say, a Nissan Leaf or a BMW i3 or a e-Golf, we'd have had to charge the car overnight. We'd have had to find somewhere to charge, which actually, to be fair, in Gothenburg isn't hard. There are lots and lots of car chargers. But we didn't even think about it. We didn't need to worry about it. So this is the Tesla Model S, the P85, so it's a performance car, very powerful car. It has snow tyres, it has a winter pack so that you can heat the windscreen wipers are heated, as well as the seats. We were driving through heavy snow last night and it was absolutely fine. To be fair to the snow and the environment, it wasn't settling on the roads because it was Swedish roads that are really used to snow, and that's what they're built for, and it just kind of melted. But I'm keeping well within the speed limit, and I'm now going to use cruise control and adaptive cruise control.
We had some Swedish fast food while we charged, then drove into Denmark over the iconic bridge which featured in the iconic TV series The Bridge. But we couldn't see much because the weather was so grim.
There's no way of saying it other than how it is spelt. It is spelt Middelfart. I'll say it again so you can understand it, because it is obviously a foreign language for us. It's in Danish. Middelfart. I'm not saying it for any immature, silly, adolescent reason. I'm just naming the name of the place where the chargers are. The superchargers at Middelfart.
It was raining so hard at Middelfart, we didn't film anything. Shame. But by the time we got to this charge station at Køge in southern Denmark, it was just very cold. The station roof is covered in solar panels, which, even though they wouldn't be doing much on a day like this, still strikes me as a jolly good idea. The Tesla supercharger delivers an enormous amount of electricity. After just a couple of minutes, it had pushed 5 kilowatt hours into the batteries. For context, your domestic outlet delivers 240 volts at 13 amps. This supercharger is delivering 361 volts at 325 amps. We drove on into the night, which reminded me of the stupidity of doing road trips.
We have a mere 215 kilometres to go. We will soon pass 1,000 kilometres in total distance. It's all got a bit mad. But we're making it. We've recharged. We're on the way. We're at Wittgenstein. We are at Wittgenstein. Is that where we are? I didn't even know where we were. And there's no free Wi-Fi. We suddenly come out of Denmark where everything's free, and now we're in Germany where things are not free. And I've just had a bratwurst. Great big bratwurst.
You do tend to go a bit loopy after driving for 1,000 kilometres. We stayed in a hotel that was somewhere near Hanover and collapsed in a heap. The following morning, there was a surprise at breakfast.
Oh, look at that. The little puppies all in there.
So I was sort of half expecting to open it and there'd be like just a pig's head in there grinning at me, but no, there's little happy eggs. Oh, that is so cute.
We're outside the hotel we stayed in last night. When we got here, there was charging at the hotel. We got here with about 70% in the battery. Overnight, it's gone up to 100%. It's the first time I've ever seen a Tesla Model S with 100% of its battery charged. We're going to do a nice leisurely cruise across the Low Countries of Germany. We're in between Hamburg and Hanover at the moment. We're going to go past Holland, go through a bit of Belgium. I think we're charging in Bruges today. Very nice. And we'll end up somewhere near the Eurotunnel.
The next charger we reached was at a wind-blown garden centre in Germany, and I wanted to try out the auto opening feature. This is where you simply point the supercharge connector at the car and the charge port door opens. You just point it at the car. Yeah, you point it. Point it at the car and the charge port door opens. Go on, it works for everyone else. Go on, point it. Point the bloody thing, you tragic, stupid, bumbling old man. Oh, God.
So far we've used 360 kilowatt hours, which is quite a lot of electricity, but we've averaged 249 watt hours a kilometre, and I'm trying to get lower than that. Ha ha ha, no chance.
This very useful feature tells you how much charge you'll have remaining at the end of the current journey. Connected to the sat-nav, it knows not only the distance, but the terrain and weather conditions, and it's altogether very clever.
We're taking it easy today. Yesterday we did a bit of speed testing on unrestricted autobahns, and we got up to 125 miles an hour, which is the top speed for this vehicle, which it does with ease. There's no problem at all, but then you do use more electricity. It doesn't really matter because it doesn't cost you anything to charge it, and it charges so fast. And they will be free forever. It's been guaranteed by Tesla cars. I think you'll find that when you referred to the company as Tesla Cars, that was wrong. It's Tesla Motors. I just thought I'd do that just in case, because I did say Tesla Cars, and that was very bad. It's Tesla Motors. It was utterly misleading, because people are immediately now buying cars from Tesla Cars, different firm, not Tesla Motors. But what this is doing is setting a bar pretty high for other motor manufacturers to say, can you do something like this? And at the moment, none of them have. So we're now nearly at the tunnel.
Now bear left.
Now bear left. That was tyres on my side, because they were doing it on your side before. They only just fit.
So that's it. We're nearly home. We're on the Eurotunnel. We just drove straight in. It was brilliant. We didn't have to wait 1 minute. It was fantastic. The car has now done over 1,200 miles. We now know how many miles it's done, so we've reset it to miles. Now we're going back into the UK. So we'll do about, 1,400 miles altogether. The whole concept of range anxiety in a car like this is just comical. It just doesn't exist. No one can sit in a car as long as the batteries in this will last. You've got to get out for a comfort break, or you go insane. It's the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life, and I loved it.
The remaining leg of the journey in England was quick and incident-free. We returned the car to Tesla without a scratch. We'd driven 1,309 miles in 2 and a bit days. We used 505 kilowatt hours of electricity, which was all free except for €5 we had to pay to charge at the German hotel with a combi. If we paid the average cost of electricity in Europe, this journey would have cost £90. To drive an equivalent-sized petrol car the same distance, meaning a big posh Audi, Mercedes or BMW, averaging 25 miles to the gallon, which is being generous, the same distance would cost over £248. So a Tesla is cheaper and faster.